You don't have any siblings, do you?
Stepsister.
Stepsister? Oh, you want to do that for your stepsister? What? You want to go save her?
I might try
You
to
just
find
lost in
another.
the woods.
I
Oh well.
would. Well, first off, she's older, so she should be coming to save me. But secondly, I'd probably say like, okay, Totoro, we need to reevaluate the plan here. Is there
You
like
just turn
a?
into a dog.
I saw you float. I saw you hop on your little top and float through the air. How about you take me to my sister? Not this monstrosity of a bus.
Hello, fellow weebs and otakus, to another episode of Anime Fix, or your fix for all things anime. I'm Chase.
Totoro.
That's great.
I'm
Man.
Lance.
Hello, Totoro. To be honest with you, I did not expect him to sound like that. I expected him to sound like, I don't know, something different than that. I didn't think he's gonna sound like an animal. I thought he was gonna like actually talk and speak and stuff.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be. I don't know. Did you get the same feeling that he was kind of like a side character almost? Like he wasn't the main. They
Yeah.
talked about him,
No,
but
I mean, I thought it was more of May and uh
Sasuke,
Sasuke.
Sasuke,
I think
Sasuke. No, I was kidding.
Sasuke. It's Sasuke. Yeah, I did. I mean, the movie is called My Neighbor Totoro. You would think that Totoro would be in it more, but apparently not.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. That doesn't is not being a much bigger part doesn't hurt the film. I don't think. It just was a
No.
kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I was surprised a little bit about it as well. I didn't know that there's gonna be other like mini Totoros either.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a little one, a bigger one, and then a huge one. What do you think?
I liked it. It had the same vibe or the same feeling of Spirited Away, but I don't it I didn't enjoy it as much as Spirited Away, that's for sure. It
I'll.
didn't really feel here, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say I kind of felt the same way. I've seen a few more Studio Ghibli films than you have.
Yeah.
And it's still like grade A, like great content. I'll say it's not my favorite of what I've seen. Like definitely Spirited
total.
Away, Howl's Moving Castle. Those are like
Oh, you've seen that one?
yes. I've
Oh, okay.
I've seen Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky. There's another one. I can't remember. It's kind of got the same like backstory to Cal, not backstory, but same like premise of a floating building city is no, yeah, that is Castle in the Sky. Castle in the Sky, House Moving Castle.
Are they two different ones?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Both kind of have a floating city type, backstory. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's more, but those are the only ones that are coming to mind right now. But yeah, definitely not my favorite of the bunch.
Gotcha. I mean, I could tell that it came out in 1988. Like, I felt like, and I know they redid the art style for Spirited Away and like it's remastered and everything. I'm assuming they did the same thing with My Neighbor Totoro, but like the animation just looks so much better in Spirited Away than My Neighbor Totoro, in my opinion.
Agree. Totally with that.
And then it felt like My Neighbor Totoro didn't have a story. It was just like, from a kid's perspective, it's more of like, hey, we're doing this today. Hey, we're doing this today. Hey, I found this giant Totoro thing outside here.
And of course, I think that's the weirdest thing is that the father is just like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I totally believe you." The way it works is nature spirits only show themselves when they want to be seen. So you should go, he was he was a very supportive dad.
Oh yeah,
Like,
way more supportive than I would have been.
and it still stands. I wonder, did he actually believe that? Because he talks about like when he lived in on a haunted house in the film, and the whole like soot sprites and things like that. And that's makes me wonder: was he, since we're kind of viewing it from the perspective of a child, was he actually believing them and supporting them, or was he just saying that because they're kids and he's like, oh, well, I don't want to be a jerk and just tell them you're stupid. Why are you believing in fairy tales? What do you think?
I think he was very supportive. I think he was like the idealist perfection of a dad, of
Mhm.
like how kids see dads,
Yeah.
because it is from the perspective of two kids. The movie is, which I totally understand why the film is not like a straightforward like story film. It's chaotic, like a child's mind. I feel like
Yeah.
that's why I like Spirited Away more, because obviously it's more like a story and it has a point to the story. The point of
Yep.
My Neighbor Totoro, I think, is don't go off by yourself when you're 4. I think that's the story. That
Would
story.
you, as a dad, have let, I know we talked about it earlier, your son's not 4 yet, but when he gets to 4, would you just be letting him roam around outside like that? Just
No, no, not at all.
uh, pick up acorns.
Obviously if they were staying with like a babysitter, like the grandma was, Granny, I would assume the babysitter would watch them. So the last part was not the dad's fault. The first part, where she kind of, when she first finds Totoro, that's definitely the dad's fault. He's too engrossed in his architecture like stuff and everything like that. Um, but no, I would not let him roam. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Um, what did you, so do you have any opinions on like how May approached things versus Sasaki?
What do you mean?
Well, like how May's like, I'm not scared. And seems always trying to put on like tough person attitude, and Sasaki, she didn't really put on a tough person attitude, but she definitely came from more of like a like she was trying to be like an adult more than what a kid would think an adult's supposed to be. Did you get that same vibe or?
I kind of did, yeah. Which is kind of weird coming from a 4-year-old. It's like a 4-year-old trying to act like a grown up.
Huh.
But obviously, you can tell like she's scared with the soot sprites and or soot gremlins. I don't know what they're called.
Both
Um,
the Soot Gremlin sprites.
yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Um, I could tell, kind of see that with her like pretending to not be scared, but her shaking, and then when she's crying because she's lost and everything. Obviously, I, why do you think she tries to act that way?
Probably, I think the mom, because we see a little bit of the mother and how she says they're
She doesn't look
trying
that
to.
sick to me, by the way.
I was wondering, like, I the whole time I was wondering, like, what is she suffering from? You're right. She
Uh,
didn't look that sick, but now we're seeing her kind of on the tail end of whatever she was going through. But like, I was just trying to understand what the dynamic was of she's in a hospital, but she can come home on weekends sometimes. And
I actually looked it up.
oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, from what it says
First off,
is
first
good.
off, was it mentioned in the story? I didn't catch what she was suffering
No, it
from.
was not mentioned in the story at all.
Okay.
I had to look it up just because I was curious. I looked it up. From here, this is from imdb.com, whatever trivia 25. The film is partially autobiographical. Miyazaki and his brothers were children. His mother suffered from spinal tuberculosis for 9 years and spent much of her time in a hospital. So it's partially autobiographical, where he wrote that mom kind of like that, where he would visit his mom like over the course of 9 years in the hospital. Where it's, I have no idea what spinal tuberculosis, probably degeneration of the spine. That's a wild guess.
Oh,
But it makes
not sure
sense.
either,
Like
but yeah.
you have good days and bad days. But yeah,
But I think she called it out because she said, how she believes that the kids are putting on a tougher act than they need to because they're scared.
yeah, that's true.
And I
And then they
imagine
kind of
that,
break down. Remember that?
yeah, when they got the telegram that she was,
Hmm.
it's just a cold, right? But I wonder if because they said this before, but when we flash, to the hospital, we see the dad and mom talking. Both not concerned at all. So I wonder if in the past, when she's gotten really sick, they told their kids it's just a cold, not to worry them.
Yeah.
And then so now they associate that like, oh, they're just trying
Worry.
to make, yeah, so we don't worry. But in this situation, it actually wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you think you should let your kids know the full truth of what's going on or not?
See, I don't know.
That's a tough one for me
That
too.
is a tough one. I think it all comes down to delivery. I guess in a perfect world, I say you should be as upfront as you can be with children. You need to sort of weigh the delivery, and how you're upfront with them. I think how you and I might deliver bad news to each other is different than how we might deliver bad news to your son, right? And
Yeah.
so in both the situations, you can tell the same thing, but why I might be a little bit more frank with you or deadpan with you or just to the point. Your son, I might try to simplify it and be a little bit more considerate on how my words are taken.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference, right? Like you don't want to just unload on your children on children in general, but you definitely I think should try to do more about telling, being upfront and truthful. Um, so that way they have more. I think that can cause trust issues. I guess that's a long way of saying I think um, lying or misleading can cause trust issues.
Yeah, it's a fine line for sure.
Mm.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to go through that at some point with my kid as he grows up, but that's a problem for future Chase.
um, I was particularly really liked the bus scene.
So the creepy bus scene, or like when,
First off,
or
if there was a cat bus that went by me, that's a death trap for me. I would
bro,
not go
what do you mean a
anywhere
death
near
trap?
that.
Oh, because it's a death trap, or like you think it's a death trap?
No, because I'm allergic to cats.
Oh yeah, but it's a magical cat. I don't think it's gonna have the same properties of a normal cat.
You know that?
I have no idea. I'm just talking out of my butt.
Just assuming. I would assume the worst case. I can't go near that. So like
That's
riding on a
fair.
cat bus, like if because that towards the end, Sasuke gets on the bus and that's how she finds her little sister.
Yeah.
If I was in that situation and Totoro was like, "Oh, hey, get on this bus," I'd be like, "Okay, I guess she's gonna stay lost in the woods." 'Cause I
That's
can't-
awful. No, I would definitely go on it. But I also have a sister, so like in real life,
Yeah. Um,
you don't have any siblings, do you?
stepsister.
Stepsister? Oh, you want to do that for your stepsister? What? You want to go save her?
I might try
You
to
just
find
lost in
another.
the woods. Oh
I
well.
would. Well, first off, she's older, so she should be coming to save me. But secondly, I'd probably say like, okay, Totoro, we need to reevaluate the plan here. Is there
You
like
just turn
a?
into a dog.
I saw you float. I saw you hop on your little top and float through the air. How about you take me to my sister? Not this monstrosity of a bus.
Bro, but honestly, Cheshire cats also freak me out because their smiles are really creepy to me. So like that whole scene, I was like, why'd it have to be a Cheshire cat? Couldn't
Did
have
you
been
see
like a
so a couple of weird things about the cat. Did you see like the little, I think they were like mice or rats for lights at the
yeah, that's
top?
creepy. Yeah.
Also, really weird detail is when we see the cat lie down, bottom up. Did you see the testicles on the cat?
No, I didn't see that. I wasn't looking for it.
I wasn't looking for it either, but Tori pointed them out to me. Like they actually drew
Tori noticed
balls.
it.
No, Tori noticed it, and she said they drew balls on the cat bus.
They got to be
Weird,
anatomically correct, right?
weird, just detail,
It's a
and
really weird detail.
um, but I so anyway, but back going back, I really enjoyed the scene where they're at the bus stop where Totoro
I
shows
enjoyed that.
up.
That's probably my favorite scene for sure. I enjoyed that a lot because it's just funny and um I like the umbrella analogy and like I thought Totoro's ears was gonna poke a hole in the umbrella. I was really
Uh,
waiting for that to happen. And then like he's like a child where like he's jumping up and down and then the rain keeps hitting the umbrella.
he's like, "Ooh, that sounds nice," and let me just make every raindrop fall.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that scene.
To be
The
honest with you
frog,
though, sorry, one second. To be honest with you though, like with that scene, I thought it was gonna do like a 180, and the dad was never gonna come back because he died.
that would be
Bro,
so.
I'm just used to the anime tropes of all the other modern day animes I've watched, where it just goes a full 180, and then
Yeah.
like that's the climax of the story dealing with that. I didn't think it was gonna be a happy-go-lucky like anime like it like it was, you know.
It was definitely happy go lucky.
Totally.
So what I was gonna say was is that the frog too was super detailed. It did like when
It
the
was a weird
little
walking though. Remember the
I,
frog walking? Like the frog was like crawling instead of
yeah,
hopping. I was like,
yeah.
frogs don't do that, I don't think.
It was just seemed like that frog had like whoever was in charge of that frog's like I'm gonna make this the best looking animated frog because it was so
Have
distinct from everything else in the
you
movie and in that scene.
have you seen that anime trope where it's like, all right, we don't have a budget or anything, but you should take your time, take all the time you need on this, and then animators are like, so you're saying I have time? They go all out on like a romance like fight scene when it's just supposed to be romance.
But that was a good scene. Did you anything else stick out to you?
My mind immediately went to a romance fight scene again. So like uh I'm almost out of my medicine, so my brain's like super scatterbrained right now because I didn't take it today. And I'm just thinking about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the giant fight scene in that. If you ever seen that, it's
No, I haven't.
it's it's a slice of life anime, a romance anime, and the amount of unnecessary, beautifully drawn animation fights in that is ridiculous when it's supposed to be a romance anime. Anyways, anything else that stuck out?
Also, in that bus scene, I was kept wondering, like, I didn't assume the dad was going to die,
Oh, I did.
but I kept wondering, like, where is he? Like, are these children, like, it's the fact that they stood there? I imagine it was for a few hours. I don't think it was like a
Oh
20
yeah,
minute.
it had to be. There's like three other
Um,
buses that came through, including
yeah,
the Cheshire Cat one.
I was just like, where is he? Like, what is like, are they gonna sleep there? Are they gonna camp out? Like, I would have gone back inside and said, "Hey, Granny, I need to crash here for the night."
But that bus
Dad's
stop's not that super close to their house either, you know.
yeah, too. They had to walk a long way. It was kind of just weird. Like, why was she walking home in the first place?
Who?
And the
Why was he
fact that
walking home?
the kids, like, why didn't they take the bus home?
That's what the bus stops at.
So
Like
that was the bus stop. So they have to
that was
walk home from there.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's the bus
gross.
stop. So yeah. It's pretty bad. But um, imagine like because Sasaki's 7, right? 7 or 8. He's not that much
Uh,
older than
yeah, I'm not sure, but
I don't know how old, but May's definitely 4. Imagine like let's say 10, a 10 and a 4-year-old sitting at a bus stop for hours by themselves in the
a
middle of the night.
4 year old. I mean,
A
thank
4-year-old
goodness
shouldn't
she
be
was
out there at
asleep.
all.
Well, yeah, a 4 year old should be out there, but
Oh yeah, she
thank
definitely fell
goodness she was
asleep.
asleep because she would have been like just tired, exhausted, annoyed,
That
ready
is
to
a different
leave.
time too, man. I
Yeah.
mean, 1988, that's a different time. Like,
But yeah, the movie was made in 1988, but I'm damn certain that that film doesn't take place in 1988.
you don't think so? When do you think the movie? I mean, when do you think the movie
I
takes
mean,
place?
the did you see their kitchen? They're throwing firewood in there to cook food.
That's fair.
Yeah, and they're
Because they were real lenient back then, huh? About like going out exploring or do whatever you want.
yeah, I don't yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then look at also the style of his clothes. Like he was wearing like those thick slacks with the sweater vest and everything like that. I mean, I feel like it was more mid 20th century than anything else. You said
20th
it's
century,
huh?
like 1950s.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit earlier. I don't you said Miyazaki it was autobiographical, right? So when was uh how old is Miyazaki?
Also,
Okay, so he is 81 years old.
81. Jeez, he's still cranking out movies too.
Yeah.
He has a new
He
one
is
coming out, doesn't he?
I'm not sure. Yes, he does. Yes, he does have a new one coming out. Um it's either this year or next year.
Oh, oh,
He's
oh.
81 years old. So he was born in 1941. Right? So like if let's say it's about him and his brother. Let's say he is from the perspective of like
You're about right.
May,
50.
he would be at least if he's going by the same age, he was like it was like 1945.
Okay, that's fair.
Um
That
so
makes
yeah.
sense.
I definitely don't think it was but anyway, yeah, that would have sucked.
Oh yeah,
After
totally.
I I was a little annoyed that May was like she was crying and she's like I want my sister.
When?
And the granny was like, "Okay, I'll take you to your
Oh
sister."
yeah, yeah.
Like, why would you like? No, you and you just show up and you're like, "I don't know what to do." You're the adult. Why are you coming up to another child? And like, I don't know how to take care of your little sister. You should
Yeah,
like know how to do. So that was a little bit off-putting, um,
off-putting.
annoying.
Yeah, totally
Um,
was.
but I was a little surprised though that she's like, I guess we'll figure something out. And she brought her in. The teacher's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I know.
we'll just let the sister sit there and color, and she won't
Yeah,
be a distraction to the rest of the other children.
I mean, definitely different time, So, quick question, on those like a 4-year-old and like a 9-year-old walking, going out doing their own thing, or like waiting at the bus stop until like 11 o'clock at night, maybe. When you were a kid, were you able to like walk to your friends' houses, or were you able to like do any of that, or like stay out like super late without telling anybody?
Um, when I was that age,
Not when you were that age, but like at any point, like say 15 and under.
probably not when I was 15 or under. I mean, I had a little bit more freedom to go out and see friends and stuff when I was in like the 13, 14, 15 area. I mean, it was always like they had to take me. I couldn't drive. And so, and they knew where I was, right? But I really didn't have that when I was even younger. Because I moved a few times as a kid, and like I say, in my early years, I was in walking distance of like my elementary school, so I was able to like go there and come home on my own. Like no one had to do that for me. But as I got older, and I moved, moved out to more. I wouldn't say boonies, but like I was more out like further away from the main town,
Yeah.
right? Like like a suburb type thing. And so it wasn't like a 5 minute stroll downtown to go see, my friend, right? I had to be driven. And if I
Yeah.
rode a bike, we're talking about like a 30-minute bike ride, right? 30 minute to an hour bike ride,
Yeah.
get anywhere. So yeah, it was, I didn't, even if I could, I wasn't really in a situation where I was able to.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of different for me because I was in a situation where I lived in the suburbs. and two of my close friends lived, really close to me. So I was able to ride my bike or just walk, and like it's walking distance. I probably could be there in like 10, 15 minutes, but with my
Hmm.
bike, 5 minutes tops. Because it's all in this like cul-de-sac or this like suburb, like without even going out of the neighborhood. And then there's a gas station at the very end of the neighborhood, still connected to the suburb.
Okay.
So I was always able to go and like even out like between 10 and 15, I was able to do pretty much whatever I wanted if as long as I told them where I was going. No cell phones at that time yet,
What
which
are you
is
talking
crazy.
about? No cell phones at that time.
Like I didn't have a cell phone,
Okay, I was gonna say because there's cell phones at that
and
time.
yeah, there's cell phones at the time, but like my parents or grandparents never had cell phones until like you know like when I was like 18 or 19. Um, 'Cause there's flip phones and stuff, but I didn't have any of that stuff. But but they'd always send me on errands to go get them like lotto tickets or like I couldn't buy them, but I still got them anyways because they knew the gas station owner. um and
This
uh
is literally like a 1950s. Hey son, go
yeah,
down and pick up some cigarettes for me. You
I
know,
never did
at
that.
the
I
corner.
never did any of that, but definitely lotto tickets. Um, and then whenever they needed like an energy drink or like just drinks or my aunt was really obsessed with Starburst gummies. So I always went and got those. I don't know why, but I just have fond memories of riding my bike down there. And what's really stupid is I didn't get like I got a bike, right? My sister for her 13th or 14th birthday, they got her a moped to ride around the suburbs or cul-de-sac. Where's my moped at? I
What?
was I was so frustrated when she got a moped. I was like, I'm definitely riding that.
So when I was a kid, there was this one toy that was really popular. It was like a toy car that you like a baby like a basically a car that a baby could drive, right? Or like a
Yeah,
first second, third, fourth grade. And
like
I
that, right?
wanted. Is that what that is in the back?
It's a I have it's Grayson's Christmas present. I have not opened it yet because I'm waiting for my mom to be here to open it. But it's a Jeep Wrangler for toddlers.
Yes. Okay. So it was basically one of those, and I know they still made those. I guess I'm not shouldn't be surprised. But it was really popular when I was a kid, and I really wanted one so bad. And then there was a neighbor kid who his parents got him one. And I was so pissed off. I was like, Mom, how can he have one and I can't? And she's like, well, you know what? Let me give. Remember what she got
Did
me that year, but it was
did
nowhere near
did you
as
get you one?
cool. No, she didn't give me one. I never wanted one. I almost want one now just to make up for that lost childhood memory.
Get one. You probably
Oh,
still fit in it
no, I couldn't.
if you got one custom made for you.
Custom made.
Yeah,
I
you're
you
rich.
know
It's fine.
shut up. I suppose I could get a golf cart though. That'd be about the
Bro,
closest thing to an adult version of that. Is a golf
imagine going over
cart.
the speed bumps around your area and in a golf cart. That'd be hilarious.
Do I just ramp up, just fly everywhere?
That'd be great. Maybe you'll see Totoro up there.
Maybe, maybe. Only if he magically grows my acorn tree.
Bro, I was so confused about that. I was like, so is this real or is it not real? I don't understand what's going on.
I was thinking like if that acorn tree is still there when the dad comes out in the morning, he's gonna have some questions like what the hell just happened
Well, it's
here?
crazy because the dad's window is, or like door, side of the house is completely open. You're not seeing a giant acorn tree like
Yeah.
just sprouting tremendously. Your kid's
Which
outside dancing with Totoro.
kind of like that, all that sort of the magic happening. Like obviously the next day, the tree's not there. But they do see the sprouts, right? Um, do do you think like up until the very end when the little corn they drop the corn off
Mhm.
at the window of her mom's hospital room?
Yeah.
I could have said that everything up until that point was imagination.
Yeah, I
Right? It
could
was
see that
just
too.
um, because the floating through the air and the tree disappearing and all that stuff, and the fact that they run through the tunnel and you see Totoro, but then but when her older sister comes in, she's just passed out, like she tripped on like obviously she could have been knocked, fall, knocked unconscious, and it was just
Yeah.
all dream.
But then the
Uh,
older sister saw Totoro at that point, and
but yeah, the older sister saw Totoro, but even then, I could have said like it's all just make believe until the very end when she drops that corn off, and it's like obviously like there's a like something carved into it, like a little note, and then she magically ends up back at home. Like,
yep. And then her mom said, my mom told the dad, and it's like, I thought I saw Mei and Sasaki in that tree looking at us, and I
yeah,
was like, well, that's kind of weird.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe Totoro is real. I think he's a forest spirit. That's what it said.
I think so. What's up with them playing the flute thingy or whatever that is? It's like a nightly ritual. Remember how like they're standing on top of that acorn tree and they're all playing like a musical instrument,
I do
like
remember
Totoro and
that.
them.
I don't know of any. Did you look up? Because I didn't pick up on why they
No,
were doing that.
I don't know.
Um, I was kind of like curious, like why. Okay, so here's something that stuck out to me. How does a 4-year-old sit on basically a giant Snorlax? Um, and which Totoro reminds me of a giant Snorlax.
Yeah,
Um, sit
that's what
on
Otto
there
said too.
and he's roaring. This thing could eat you in one gulp, and you're just sitting there giggling.
Yeah,
I would have been terrified.
what's so funny is like I looked up discussion questions for Totoro, and there's 5 here. The first one is, why aren't Mei and Sasaki afraid of Totoro? Why do you think they're able to befriend him so easily? That's exactly what you just asked. And like, yeah,
um,
I have no idea.
I mean, other than like, maybe it's reason why they can see him and nobody else is because the purity of a child, and they're more prone to imagination and creativity and stuff like that, and on on oh, what's the word I'm looking for, unaltered by life.
Do you think that you're more afraid of things now than you were as a kid? You think that's why they weren't very afraid of him?
um Ooh, that's a good question. Probably I can think of some things that as a kid I didn't
Thought you were
think
more
twice
reckless at
about.
doing. Yeah, you're more reckless about doing things.
Yeah, like there's one time as a kid that there was a snake, right? And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I want to pick it up." It was just a garden snake, right? I wanted to pick it up. And so I reached down to grab it by the tail to pick it up, and then it snapped at me, right?
Yeah.
Well, first off, I wouldn't have done that as an adult, but if I had done that as an adult and the snake snapped at me, I would probably, oh, okay, I'll leave you alone. But as a kid, I was like, what? Why won't you let me pick you up? And so I just kept going in there trying to pick up the snake. Now, it never did bite me, but
Did you pick it up at all?
no, not like not really. Like I got a hold of the tail and I got it off the ground a little bit, but
It snapped
that's
at you
about.
again.
But it snapped at me again. That was about the best I could do, and then I just said, "All right, I guess I'll walk away." But it never occurred to me that like that would hurt if the
That
snake
snakes are
bit me.
dangerous.
Yeah. Well, again, a garter snake. I guess I didn't know it was a garter snake at the time, but I
Hopefully, it was a
mean,
gar snake.
but a garter snake is um, relatively harmless and compared to other snakes. Like, yeah, it'll bite you, but it won't. There's no poison, as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's any poison. So, um, but anyway, yeah, that's probably the clearest example of me being reckless as a kid. Or I climbed, or one time I tried to climb a tree
Yeah.
and a branch broke, and I fell down, right, and it hurt. Like when I hit the ground, it hurt. It was like I finally healed. I was like, or healed. I didn't. I would say
Regeneration.
yeah, yeah. I felt compelled to do it again.
Yeah.
Climbed the tree again. I wasn't scared of falling off that tree. I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just try again.
Oh
I
yeah, I
would
was
do
never
I
afraid
would
of
do that
physical pain.
now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that again. But like as a kid, I wasn't afraid of physical pain. And my dad was really weird and had like pet tarantulas. We had like 11 of them, and like a giant. So like those cabinets that people put china in and like decorative like plates and stuff.
Hutch?
Is that what it's called?
I think so. We have one.
Oh, oh, I didn't know what a hutch was. Okay, so imagine a hutch, but no china plates or anything like that in it. Just 11 different spiders that you can see inside, and like little like capsule things or little like containers. My dad had 11 of those.
Oh
What?
my. I was gonna say who had those again? But you just answered my question. So
Yeah, my dad, and then me and my sister had to take care of them. Um, because that's exactly how it goes. Like my dad gets the animal, but we had to take care of him. so so he has 11 of them. We had to change out the water, and we had to feed it crickets, feed them all crickets and everything. And like obviously, like every like month or two, we'd have to clean out their cage or like clean out their like containers. So we had to transport the spider from one thing to a smaller one, clean it all out, and then transport it back. And like as kids, me and my sister just used our hands and just like had like the spider crawl on it. Like we didn't like grab it, but we just had a spider crawl on us and like move it.
huh.
As an adult, I look back and I'm like, wow, I don't think I'd do that now as an adult. And we had a couple of venomous ones, and I'm like, I don't know why we did that as kids.
Yeah, it's just something, there's like a barrier to you don't really understand.
No,
You know what you're doing, right? Because you're conscious that you're picking up the spider, but you don't really understand what the consequence or what could result
oh
of
no,
picking up the
I had no
spider.
idea spiders could bite, and no spiders ever bought us. I mean, no spiders ever bit us.
This isn't a perfect one-to-one, but and that's probably why that probably is somewhat of a factor of why nothing ever happened to you picking up the spider because you
Mhm.
weren't afraid, right?
Mhm.
So like you weren't afraid touching the spider, so the spider probably didn't sense that on you and was like, okay, well he's not afraid of me, so he doesn't mean he's not gonna hurt me. I'm probably fine. Versus as an adult, you have this sort of like tension that you build up, right? And you're like concerned. It's kind of like with our dogs, right? If I if there's a loud noise or if there's something that's got me spooked, they're more likely to be spooked. But if I'm calm and I'm not, really worried about something, they'll just let it slide. Like I'll get worked up and I'll walk to the door and I'll look outside and they see me look outside and I turn to them and I kind of make like if everything's okay and they go, oh, okay. And then they trot off. But until
Yeah,
I do that, they're focused on that door. Like there's something dangerous out there.
yeah. Are they more protective or more scared at that point?
One of them is more protective. The other one is more scared.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Um, but they both have the same reaction. So
Oh, really?
I wouldn't say like so I wouldn't say protect like one of them maybe protective is not the right word. She's just kind of like if you don't bother me, I won't mess you up.
Yeah,
But if you get in my way, I'm going to show you who's boss. Where the other one is just very anxious all the time, so she reacts uh, quickly because she's afraid of what might happen. They were both strays found on the streets, and so we're pretty sure that the more anxious one, probably had a lot of obstacles while she was a stray.
yeah,
But anyway, random thought on that.
yeah. Quick side note: you want to see what my mom? Okay, so I've had these on my desk. I'm not sure if I ever showed you, but I've had these little figurines or whatever on my desk for at least like 4 or 5 years, right? But my mom brought these back from the Philippines because she thought they were Dragon Ball Z characters. Do you want to see what she brought me? And they're
Yes.
hilarious, and I'm definitely keeping them forever because they're so funny. But I'm like, these are not Dragon Ball Z characters. Here's one. It could pass for Krillin, right? I mean, he's holding.
it,
I don't know what he's. I think he's drinking sake. Honestly,
I
this one's super cool. He's holding
I
nunchucks,
huh
and this one.
those are amazing, but also it's hilarious that she thought those like even I know those
Oh
aren't
yeah.
Dragon Ball. Or what might have happened was she probably went to like a bootleg market,
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
and they're like, oh yeah, these are like, do you have any Dragon Ball Z characters? Like, oh yeah, of course we do, and here's this one, here's some right here. She's like, oh, that's perfect. She had no
I'll take
clue.
those three. I thought it was funny.
Actually happened to us when we went to Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. Remember when I think I texted you because we went to Chinatown,
Yeah.
and one of the shops we went to had a lot of like Dragon Ball Z uh,
Oh yeah.
figures in there. I don't remember what Tori bought, but she was really excited, like, oh, I've always wanted one of these. And then we got back to the place where we were staying, and she opens up. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a bootleg because
Why?
because there was like mismatched pieces and things that looked like they were like they weren't the same as the other ones. Almost like they were manufactured to fill the gap.
That's great.
But she was like, "This is perfect." I'm so like even knowing that it was bootleg. She's like, "This is like its own little neat story." What is that? Well, I know what it is, but like, is that a card or is that a?
No, it's a fig pin. It's a figurine pin. So like you could pin it, but like I keep it in the case because it's a cool. It's kind of like pot figures, but it's a
Okay.
figurine pin. I don't know. I like it. It's cool. It was half off.
Um,
Anything else on Totoro?
I can see why it has a lot of merch sales because those Totoros are very adorable.
Yeah. So like, did you know that it did awful at the box office?
You told me that. I think we talked about
Yeah,
that.
I think we talked about that last time. But I mean, I understand. I think why it did awful at the box office because anime wasn't really big at that time, and then, but
Especially it
like,
came out around a similar time as Kiki's Delivery Service.
and yeah, and I guess Kiki Delivery Service is better, right?
I think so. I definitely liked it better.
Gotcha. But Studio Ghibli, their mascot is Totoro, which makes sense because it's like a fluffy, like furry character, you know?
Sasaki
Yeah,
looks almost identical to
to
Kiki.
Kiki. Really? Yeah.
Hmm.
You think it's a grown-up Kiki?
Yeah,
You think Kiki is grown-up Sasaki?
I don't think they're related at all. I think
Oh,
they're their own characters.
alternate universe.
Maybe. I guess we could explore the cinematic universe of Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. Um, yeah, I see that. Uh, was I? What did your son think? Because I know your wife told me that Ray has been really into since was really into Spirited Away, really into
I think
Totoro.
he's, yeah, I just think he likes the colors and likes like the animation because it's like all colorful and everything and like loud noises and stuff like that. I don't think he understands what's going on, but
No, it's
he
definitely not. But
no. But like when we were watching it, I definitely think that. Well, I don't think, but like he definitely like stopped and watched it for a little bit, while it was happening and everything, and I think he liked that.
did he seem to be more? Which move did he seem to find more appealing? Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro?
I think he was more captivated by Spirited Away, honestly.
Because of the colors.
Yeah, because the colors and everything. I'm pretty sure.
Do you think he's gonna like Howl's Moving Castle when we talk about that next?
I don't know. I have no idea what's Howlin' Moon Castle, or if it's a lot of bright colors, or if it's mostly dark colors. I have no idea.
I think I've only seen it a couple, a while, but I've seen it a couple times. I think it's mostly dark colors. It's very similar in the animation style to Totoro versus Spirited Away.
Oh, okay.
Um, that song though, at
Yeah.
the end, I think it's at the beginning too, but the Totoro Totoro
Oh yeah, it's a banger.
that's been stuck in my head since last night when we watched it.
Really?
I just like throughout the day, I'm just sitting and I'm reading something or I'm watching something, and I've been like Totoro, Totoro. Great song. I was trying to when we talked this morning. I was trying to get Grayson to start
Yeah.
singing it to annoy you.
Hilarious. I think I watched it too early in the week because I kind of forgot a little bit of it. But I really wanted to watch it, so I did.
Um, can't think of anything else interesting about the film.
I found a lot of stickers. Look at this.
You need to clean up after yourself better.
I know. I know.
Anything
I
else you
can
can think of?
understand why Studio
Oh.
Ghibli is so like good now. You know what I mean? Not good, but like so prominent in the animation world and like, anime world, and why like it definitely pioneered a lot of stuff.
I definitely invested, prioritized like blockbuster quality films. Oh, no, maybe not blockbuster. I guess blockbuster has its own sort of it's like the act like big action movie types of stuff. I wouldn't say that, but like definitely big budget. A more accurate depiction or description.
Yeah, I would say so.
But excited for next week?
I'm pretty excited. What are we doing next week, by the way?
You're talking about Howl's Moving Castle. Do we want to talk about the surprise, I guess, or not? Maybe not surprise,
Surprise?
but
Well, I mean, if we talk about it, it's not a surprise, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, we'll just talk about like what we're talking about and let the other thing be a surprise.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? If not, it's
No,
gonna be a short episode.
I can't think of anything. I mean, it's pretty, pretty
It's pretty
self-explanatory.
straight. It's pretty straightforward movie, honestly,
Yeah,
and it's not that long, right? It's like an hour and
hour and
30 minutes.
26. Yeah, hour and 30 minutes, something like that. So it was very quick. Um, Good film. Highly recommend. Not my favorite, but I definitely like it better than Words Bubble Up like Soda Pop.
You like it more than that? I like World Above like so. Well, I don't know. I kind of that's a toughie for me. I think it's half and half. I just think you're hating on World Bubble like Soda Pop at every turn. Every chance you get, you're like,
Hey,
you know what's
listen.
better than, you know what it's still better in? Words Bubble Up like Soda Pop.
It's definitely better than Makia when the promised flower blooms. That
That's like the worst one we watch, man. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, that's an awful anime.
I think we talked about it, or I might have mentioned it in one of our like you stepped away and I was trying to fill the gap. But I've been week over week keeping up, so I'm caught up now on Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
and you know they obviously they don't. Disappointingly, they don't have an English dub immediately. They have the Japanese um, version with English sub
Yeah.
out immediately, and then it's a few weeks before the English dub. And I was like so invested. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll watch the English sub version. I gotta say, it's really good. Right?
Really.
And it doesn't take away from the film at all. I'm still very invested in it. So I'm convinced that Makia was just an overall just bad film. It was, just based on the subs alone, like yeah, I enjoy Attack on Titan as a sub as much as an English dub
Really.
versus
A lot of people
Makia.
like a lot of people like sub more, honestly.
Yeah, because of the
Especially
translation.
especially Attack on Titan.
I watched all 4.5 seasons, 3.5 seasons because we're in season 4. Um, English dub, and so this is the first bit of it where I've watched the sub.
When did they come out? Like what days did they come out?
Comes out on Sundays,
Sundays.
so
There's a
later
new one
tonight
today.
before. So yeah, there's already a new one out. I'm gonna be watching it later tonight.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
No, not yet. I had other things to worry about, and so I was just
That's fair.
saving it for as kind of like my last bit of bit of entertainment before bed.
It's like a reward.
Yeah.
Bro, these stickers are so non-sticky. It's so frustrating. I'm putting them back in my drawer. I couldn't be more upset. Like the amount of high that I got and the amount of low that just became that. So frustrating. Oh man, so frustrating. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about, or is that it? Gonna be a short episode?
I think that's it. We can just keep a short episode.
Yeah, I think it's like 40, 50 minutes.
It's not bad.
Makes it easier for me. All right, guys. Well, you're gonna have a cool surprise now next week.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it either.
I'm very excited. I'm also excited for the week after that.
Oh yeah, I think you're more excited than me for that.
Why? You're gonna get the opportunity to just
I gotta prepare
unleash.
myself though. I have to like make sure I'm up to date with all my knowledge. I have to because I can't be called out by someone that doesn't even watch anime.
He is like that's such a weird thing how he's like I don't watch anime. I don't like anime, but then he's like I watch some of this anime. Um
Yeah, I don't understand either.
yeah, well, we'll explore that.
Yeah, we'll explore that. We'll explore that. All right, we'll catch everyone next time when we talk and review Howl's Moving Castle.
Bye.